Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about NBA Youngboy. Let's get right into it. I have said hundreds of times on this channel that rappers are the most influential people in the world. Rappers have more influence on the people than politicians, actors, and athletes. This is the reason politicians pay artists to endorse their campaign, because they know how influential these artists truly are. The youth and even young adults look up to rappers. They look at their favorite artists and mimic how they dress, talk, and act, trying to be just like them. Eminem, one of the biggest rappers in the world, long ago made this clear with his song The Real Slim Shady. He showed that his music was literally turning his fans into clones of him, like it was a factory. Even Lil Pump had a music video where he was showing this exact imagery. In the video, Pump could be seen showing his fans mimicking his every move, trying to be just like him. He literally showed himself as a professor teaching a class on how to sip drink. These artists know that they're extremely influential. The only problem with this is that more often than not, we find these rappers using their influence in the worst of ways, selling their influence to the elite that use these artists to push poison to the masses. They use these rappers to push substance use, violence, and degeneracy. Unfortunately, this is what hip-hop has become, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why. We have spoken about how it's believed the CIA infiltrated hip-hop back in the early 90s and used the biggest rappers to promote the gangster lifestyle. If you look at the shift from hip-hop in the 80s to what it became in the 90s, you can see why people say this. In the 80s, hip-hop was mostly positive and about having a good time and coming together. By the 90s, hip-hop was getting bigger, and those who pulled the strings in our world saw it as the perfect tool to use to destroy the urban community. The record labels signed these artists, essentially buying them, and they made them push whatever agenda they wanted. Hip-hop went from positive raps, dancing, and graffiti to gangs, substance use and substance dealing, violence, and overall degeneracy. While gangsters and criminals have always existed, they were once looked down upon by most of society. Not many people were idolizing the gangsters or criminals. For the most part, they looked down on them and feared them. Hip-hop managed to change all of that in a few short years, as rappers made the gangsters look cool. Rappers started dressing like the gangsters and mimicking their ways of talking and acting. By the 2000s, everyone wanted to be a gangster, and it was all because of hip-hop. Hip-hop did not create crime and gangsters, but it made it cool and glamorized it. As hip-hop became more dark, some smart people started to realize that the same people who were invested in the private prison industry were the same people invested in the music industry. Clearly, this wasn't a coincidence. Instead, it explained why just about every rapper was rapping about the same exact thing over and over again. It was obvious the labels were only signing gangster rappers or making rappers into gangsters. This is why we saw the rise of studio gangsters, rappers who were only gangsters in the studio, but in real life were cowards selling death to their fans. One rapper who called this all out was Prodigy. Prodigy, for those who don't know, was a legendary rapper or part of the duo Mobb Deep. Some of you might remember him for saying the infamous lines, "Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society, trying to keep an eye on me." Prodigy has spoken up against the industry on plenty of occasions before his untimely passing. One thing that Prodigy spoke about was the Illuminati's control of the music industry. Like I've said before, the Illuminati is part of the Freemasons, as when the Illuminati were created in the 1700s by Adam Weishaupt, he merged his organization with a Masonic lodge in order to gain access to their secret knowledge. The Illuminati is now a part of Masonry, as once a Mason becomes a third-degree Master Mason, they can choose to go through the Illuminati degrees. Prodigy believed, like many others, that the Freemasons had infiltrated hip-hop in order to use it to push their Masonic agenda, or what he called the beast lifestyle. By the beast, he was referring to the Baphomet, the secret deity that has been linked to the Knights Templars and the Freemasons. Prodigy stated that the Freemasons were using hip-hop to corrupt the urban community and guide them away from God in the direction of the beast. This is why hip-hop went from positive to demonic. While Prodigy was serving time in prison, he actually wrote letters exposing the rappers he believed had sold out to the Freemasons to be used to push this beast agenda. One rapper he called out just so happens to be one of the biggest names in hip-hop, Jay-Z. Prodigy actually wrote this letter aimed at Jay-Z, calling him an Illuminati puppet. This letter read, "Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate world. Jay-Z conceals the truth from the black community in the world and promotes the lifestyle of the beast instead. I am revealing some astonishing information if people would just do a little research and see. Prodigy, Dr. York, and Africa Bambaataa are the truth. Jay-Z is a lie. I have so much fire in my heart that I will relentlessly attack the Illuminati and every other evil that exists until my lights are put out, which is impossible because my power in the streets is incredible. I fear nothing and no one. everyone. I am fearless because the truth has set me free from the Illuminati's mental enslavement. I have been empowered by God and the universe. Prodigy, who was a rapper signed to a major label, was now calling out the hidden hand that controlled the music industry. The only thing I didn't agree with about this letter was him calling Africa Bambaataa the truth, when in reality, he was a monster and a huge part of the occult present in hip-hop, but that's a story for another video. It's hard to deny the truth when a rapper in the industry is saying it out of his own mouth. Prodigy spoke about this so much, even talking about it during one of his interviews.
I mean, to me, it's definitely not a joke, man. It's a lot of real stuff going on out here in this world. Secret societies are real. It's definitely very obvious, that they're at work and it's at play in the music industry, in the food industry, politics. Everywhere you turn is everywhere. You just got to read the signs. You know what I mean? The writing on the wall, basically, it's all in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? Once people just learn about it and do a little research about it all, they'll be able to see like, oh wow, I understand what's going on. You know what I mean? I wrote a lot of letters while I was in there, man. I was doing this thing for Vibe magazine, just writing letters from prison, just expressing myself and things I wanted to get off my chest, things that were on my mind, and I wanted to let people know. And I wanted to show them, even though I was inside, locked in a prison, I wanted to show them that I still had no fear in my heart, about speaking my mind and letting people know what time it is. There's no reason for me to fear because it's really nothing. There's nothing they can do aside, and I'm not afraid of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think right now they're at the point where they would take it that far. I think they like this plan that they got into effect, and it's been in effect for hundreds of years, whatever. I think it's so embedded in people's brains now. They got people so brainwashed in this world that they don't even really care anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, go ahead and tell the people all you want. We got these people so brainwashed, there's nothing you guys can do about it. That's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? And when I say they, I mean, the powers and the structures that's in place, that's there to control us. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I always say, like, God always wins at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Good always won't beat evil at the end of the day, man. No matter how bad it's looking, you know what I mean? No matter what's going on, you know what I mean? Good is always going to win. You know what I mean? But right now, you know what I mean? The devil definitely got the world in the headlock. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. And it's at the point where they got it so far. Like I said, they don't even care. They put it all in our face. You know what I mean? This information age is everywhere. It's all over the internet. What's going on? It's all in these books. It's in movies. It's in it's all over the place. And they got people so brainwashed. You know what I mean? With all the fashion and jewelry, especially like in the hip hop world. In the hip hop community, in the urban communities where I come from. You know what I mean? They got us so.
As you heard for yourself, Prodigy makes it clear that hip-hop's purpose is to control the urban community. What's strange is that right before Prodigy passed away mysteriously choking on an egg in a hospital, he was working on a project that was supposed to expose the Illuminati. It does seem like he was exposing the Illuminati until they turned his lights out, just like he mentioned he would do in the letter. I can go on and on about Prodigy, but this video is about NBA Youngboy, and I'm pretty sure you guys are asking when I'm going to talk about Youngboy. While we're about to get into Youngboy, I do believe a full video is needed on Prodigy, and if 1,000 people comment Prodigy below, I will make sure that's the next video that drops. Prodigy made it clear that these rappers are just Masonic puppets being used to push the beast lifestyle, something that NBA Youngboy is guilty of doing himself. In today's world, NBA Youngboy is one of the biggest rappers out. He is known for having one of the most loyal fan base ever in hip-hop. His fans support everything he does and wants to be just like him. If we take a close look at Youngboy, everything that Prodigy accused Jay-Z of doing is the same that he is guilty of. It's obvious Youngboy is being used to push the beast lifestyle. He is being used to guide the youth away from God. If you listen to Youngboy's music, you quickly realize all he promotes is gangs, violence, degeneracy, and worst of all, substance use. Early on in Youngboy's career, he was seen posted up with weapons in his music videos, rapping about taking people out and doing other crimes. He made his entire image about being this young gangster who was really living that gangster lifestyle. A life that almost guarantees death or prison. While Youngboy manages to escape prison on several occasions, those listening to his music influenced by his words don't have the same luck. Youngboy convinced so many young kids to follow a similar path as him. The music became the theme song to their lives, which was the worst thing that could possibly happen to them. While his fans end up in an actual prison for doing crimes he promoted through his music, Youngboy gets special treatment and is allowed to serve his time in house arrest in his mega mansion with all the luxuries. Recently, Youngboy went viral after he posted a photo of himself lying on the ground surrounded by pills in a double cup on his Instagram account that is followed by 11.4 million fans. The photo appears to show Youngboy strung out on the ground due to his addictions. Looking at the photo, you can even see that he has a needle tattooed on his arm. While many saw this post as Youngboy crying out for help, that's not at all what I saw. I saw a puppet being used to push substances onto his young impressionable fans. This photo should have never been posted on Instagram, but it was done for two reasons: to promote Youngboy's new song and to push this substance agenda. If Youngboy truly wanted help with the money and resources he has, he could get that done immediately. It was all about promoting substances and promoting the junkie lifestyle. The same way those who own the private prison industry are invested in the music industry, so are those who make these substances. They're using these rappers to push these substances onto their fans. Youngboy is nothing but a fake, a puppet used to corrupt his fans from early on in their lives. Just like Jay-Z has shown his alliance his entire career, it's the same with NBA Youngboy. Jay-Z is known for doing the Masonic all-seeing eye hand gesture that people believe is the rock symbol. The whole time Jay-Z was doing this gesture was to secretly show his alliance. Like I mentioned before, Youngboy has been showing his alliance since day one, as he literally wore a Masonic square and compass chain for one of his early music videos. The Masonic square and compasses is the main symbol in Masonry. It is literally the emblem of Masonry. Only Freemasons know about this symbol, and only members are known to wear it. In order to be a Freemason, you have to be at least 21. Youngboy was only a teen when he wore this chain, meaning Youngboy had to be a part of the Masonic Demolay organization for young boys. The Demolay is a Masonic youth organization for kids 12 to 21. It prepares them from a young age to go on and become successful members of the order. Usually, Demolay members are the children of the Masonic members, so it could be possible that Youngboy came from a Masonic family. This to me points to Youngboy being planted in the music industry, and since day one, he was used to push the Masonic agenda. This post showing Youngboy surrounded by substances shows you exactly what he is pushing to his fans. Just imagine how many young fans are looking at this post trying to be just like Youngboy. Teens don't look up to their parents, they look up to who they idolize. They see NBA Youngboy like this, and in their minds, this is the lifestyle Youngboy is living, and in order to be like him, they have to do the same. Think about how many teens NBA Youngboy's music is turning into addicts. Think about how many kids threw away their lives following Youngboy's music. People's favorite rebuttal to the fact that rappers influence the youth to live the street life is blaming it on the parents. They always say, where are the parents at? It's the parents' fault the kids end up in the street and not the rapper's fault. The parents should have raised their kids better. The thing with this response is that it's utter nonsense. Parents, and I am a parent myself, once a child becomes a tween, they no longer want to be like you. They want to be like the famous rapper who is living a life they want to live. The rappers have the car the kids want, the house the kids want, and the attention they want. While a parent can do their best to try to properly raise their child, it doesn't mean that they won't be influenced by the music or the current culture. Hip-hop is the culture, and hip-hop pushes substances and crime onto the youth through the music. A parent can't be around their child 24/7. Their child is going to go out to the real world, whether they go to school or hang out with their friends, and that's when the rappers take over. The best example of this agenda is what we saw with Future. Over 2 years ago now, I made this video on Future where I revealed that he was an industry puppet who was used to push the substance use agenda to his fans. Back in the mid-2010s, Future was the biggest rapper out, and he got there by making addict music. He made song after song rapping about taking substances and being a literal junkie. His song Codeine Crazy saw Future literally singing about his love for drink and other substances, something he rapped about taking in just about every song. A generation of kids grew up listening to these songs on repeat, hearing in every other song Future telling them how cool it was to use these substances. Future programmed a generation of kids, only to come out in an interview and admit he wasn't a real junkie like he made it sound in his music. Future admitted during an interview that even though he had quit drinking lean, he didn't want to tell his fans because he didn't want them to be mad because of it.
Living every word, and being that same way, like just being this person, being that rock star. And it's hard because it just be like, damn, I don't want to stop it and the fans stop loving me. It was like, it's like me taking a chance on, like I didn't want to tell nobody I stopped drinking lean. I didn't want to because I felt like, damn, they're going to be like, oh, his music changed because he ain't drinking lean no more. Or I can hear it when he changing. It's just like, and people are like, damn, why you don't even say it? It's like, but it just be hard when your fans so used to you a certain kind of way, that certain persona, you be afraid to change.
Future knew what he had done. He had created addicts who listened to him because of his addict music. In that video I made 2 years ago, I brought up the fact that Juice WRLD claimed to be a fan of Future growing up and admitted that he was heavily influenced by Future to use substances. He admitted he became an addict because of Future's music. Sadly, we all know what they claim happened to Juice WRLD. He went out because of his addiction. An addiction that Future's music drove him to. It wasn't just Juice WRLD whose Future music did this to, it was many others. I grew up in the Bronx and I was outside the whole time Future was running the game. I saw his influence in full effect. I personally saw my friends take substances that Future promoted in his music, and they did it because Future inspired them to, as they weren't into it before then. It was the same with A$AP Rocky, who inspired many of my young friends to sip drank when they never knew what it was before him. Their moms never caught them. They did it after school before they got home. Mom and dad thought that they were playing basketball at the park, but they were lighting up and sipping drink at the park instead. One of my close friends' brother was only 17. I can remember him showing me Codeine Crazy by Future when it came out, and not long after, him and his sister were hooked on pills. What's sad is my close friend's brother actually ended up passing away at 17 due to a lifestyle he wanted to live because of the music he listened to. I remember telling him to stay in school and keep away from the streets when he was only 16. By the time he was 17, he was gone. And I watched his sister devastated because they had taken her little brother. He was a good kid. His mother and father watched over him and loved him. The music took him in the opposite direction of what his parents were guiding him to. Future is part of the reason Juice WRLD is gone, my friend's brother is gone, and why many others are gone as well. It's the same thing NBA Youngboy is doing, being used by the elite to guide so many souls away from God, right into the hands of the devil. If you're looking at this picture and thinking Youngboy needs help, wake up. See this for what it really is. Youngboy is trying to destroy our youth. We have to stop supporting the artists that are destroying us, and we gotta build up only what builds us up, not what is created to destroy us. When I saw this photo of Youngboy, I got so upset I almost wanted to go live and talk about it. I know what he is doing, and this shouldn't be tolerated. Posting such a picture on an Instagram page with millions of followers should be a criminal act. They posted this because this is what they want people to see, not because they want Youngboy to get him help. How is Youngboy's fans gonna get him help? I already see Youngboy's fans claiming that it was Youngboy's management that posted that picture and not Youngboy, not realizing that it doesn't matter. This is what he is being used for. Youngboy is a Masonic puppet put here to destroy the urban youth. Don't fall for the manipulation. Following Youngboy only makes you the fool the elite thought you were. They want you to throw your life away, they want you to get hooked on substances, and they want you to end up in a box. Don't give them what they want. Wake up and be free. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.